Just when Mercedes thought they were heading in the right direction, McLaren have themselves a superb race weekend, setting the Silver Arrows back a step or two. The results of the British Grand Prix have forced Toto Wolff and his boys to go back to the drawing board. Let's take a look at the confusion happening in the Mercedes garage in today's video. Lewis Hamilton is seeking greater efforts from his team, as they have not yet met his expectations regarding the development of the Mercedes W14. At first glance, the 7-time world champion and the Mercedes team seem to have a solid performance at the British Grand Prix, with the 7-time world champion securing a commendable P3 finish despite an early departure from the track. But upon closer examination, this outcome poses a concern for the Brackley-based team. They now find themselves lagging behind McLaren, who, following recent upgrades, appear to possess the second fastest car on the grid, trailing only the Red Bulls. Taking a moment to look back at the race, Hamilton is eager to obtain explanations from his team, who have been consistently struggling throughout the season despite implementing significant upgrades, despite making concept-altering enhancements at the Monaco Grand Prix and introducing further upgrades at Silverstone, such as a new front wing. The team has failed to achieve the desired results thus far. Hamilton seeks clarity regarding these persistent challenges. After the race, he told Sky Sports F1 that, "For us, being on the podium was huge, and huge congrats to Lando and to McLaren. That's where I started, so to see them back there doing so well, it really warms my heart. It's definitely been an up and down season in the last year and a half. We have a lot of work to do. I think I know exactly what we need to do, and I think we've got to have some serious conversations about what we're going to do moving forward." Hamilton thinks that it would only make sense for his team to thoroughly examine the Red Bull RB19, following the footsteps of Aston Martin and McLaren, who have adopted this approach and experienced positive outcomes. By studying and attempting to emulate the success of their rivals, Hamilton believes that his team can make strides towards achieving similar levels of performance. He continued, "You know, the McLaren is proof of the direction that they've gone. I mean, it was impressive how quick they were in high speed. We've got lots of strengths in our car, and long run particularly is great. As soon as we get the rear end that they have, we're going to be on our way, so that's what we've got to fight for. But first, George had a really great long stint on the soft tyre, and I did also on the medium tyre. We've got to hold on to the good bits and just bolt on some good other stuff." After McLaren delivered a remarkable performance at the British Grand Prix, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff openly expressed his surprise. He had anticipated that Lewis Hamilton and George Russell would overtake the McLaren drivers following a late safety car intervention. This disappointing outcome has prompted the team to reassess their approach, and Wolff acknowledges that they are now considering an exit strategy for Mercedes. When the safety car was brought out due to Kevin Magnussen's engine failure, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri were running on the hard compound tyres, securing the 2nd and 4th positions respectively. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, who were on the faster soft compound tyres, held the 3rd and 5th positions on the track. Toto Wolff held strong confidence in Mercedes' prospects of achieving a double podium finish at the Silverstone International Circuit, considering the tyre advantage they possessed. Nevertheless, McLaren displayed remarkable pace and skill, effectively defending their positions in 2nd and 4th, thereby thwarting Mercedes' aspirations. Consequently, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell had to accept 3rd and 5th places respectively, as McLaren's impressive speed through the high-speed corners effectively prevented any successful overtaking manoeuvres by the Mercedes drivers. Toto Wolff openly acknowledged this challenge, recognizing McLaren's ability to maintain their position and thwart the Mercedes drivers' attempts to pass them. Following the race, Wolff told the media, "When the safety car was deployed, I was convinced that we would surpass the McLarens and finish with a P2 and P3, or maybe even challenge for the lead. Their performance showed just how strong their car was. We had an opportunity in the first few laps, but both Norris and Piastri raced exceptionally well. With their efficiency and top speed through the high-speed corners and on the straights, there was simply no way to overtake them." George Russell, like Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton, was also taken aback by McLaren's impressive performance. Russell had anticipated both himself and Hamilton to finish ahead of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, taking into account the tyre advantage they possessed. He had expected a relatively straightforward double podium finish, only to be pleasantly surprised by McLaren's exceptional management of the hard compound tyres, which allowed them to maintain their positions and challenge the Mercedes drivers. He said, "I thought it would be clear-cut, Lewis and I in P2 and P3. See you later. I was amazed at how well McLaren's tyres performed. Perhaps if they had chosen the soft compound, it wouldn't have worked as effectively on their car. Likewise, if we had the hard compound, it probably wouldn't have worked as well as it did on their car. The medium-hard strategy was clearly the wrong choice. The softs were undoubtedly the superior tyre. McLaren had a 1.5 to 2/10 advantage over us." Toto Wolff revealed that Mercedes still has a few minor upgrades in store, although he acknowledged that these enhancements are unlikely to bring about fundamental changes to the car's performance. However, McLaren's impressive display demonstrated the significance of finding just a fraction of a second in lap time. Despite Lewis Hamilton securing a commendable third place at the iconic British Grand Prix, Wolff admitted that he had anticipated a better outcome. Considering the team's previous successes at the British GP, he had assumed that Silverstone would provide the best opportunity for Mercedes to challenge and surpass Verstappen. Regrettably, this turned out not to be the case. Mercedes is increasingly considering the possibility of reflecting its entire focus towards the revamp of its 2024 Formula One car, as their current W14, lovingly labelled Diva 2.0, continues to cause frustration. Despite implementing significant changes to the W14 during a major overhaul introduced at the Monaco Grand Prix, initial hopes for improved performance and the ability to compete for victories have not been sustained. As a result, the team is now contemplating a strategic shift towards preparing for the upcoming 2024 season in order to address the persistent challenges they have encountered with their current car. With the team seemingly trapped in the midfield behind Red Bull, there is a growing recognition that the desired improvements necessary to bridge the performance gap cannot be achieved with the current W14. Consequently, Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff believes that the time is approaching when the team will need to acknowledge that their future prospects are better served by allocating all resources towards a comprehensive redesign for the following season. When questioned about the timing of this decision by motorsport.com, Wolff responded, indicating that a specific point for making that determination is yet to be determined. He said, "I think pretty soon we have no choice. P2 or P3 fundamentally doesn't impact me and the team. It's about coming back and being able to win a world championship in that respect. That's not going to happen this year. So we need to set our eyes to next year and then, at all the races to come, learn and develop and make sure that we can carry that forward into next year." But, having said that, the regulations are the same, so it's not that you're not learning nothing by continuing this car. It's a balance that we have to strike right. Mercedes' acknowledgement of the need to shift focus towards the 2024 season follows a disappointing British Grand Prix weekend. The team had anticipated a stronger performance at Silverstone, as the track's high-speed nature was expected to play to their car's strengths. However, it was McLaren that stole the spotlight at the circuit, delivering an impressive performance while Mercedes struggled to meet expectations. This further emphasised the team's need to reassess their strategy and turn their attention to future developments in order to regain a competitive edge. Despite the challenges, Toto Wolff maintains his belief that the team has the potential to secure a victory over Max Verstappen and Red Bull at some point. However, he acknowledges that achieving this feat will not be a simple task. In fact, he goes on to express his opinion that the current car, the W14, poses even greater difficulties for his drivers than the notorious W08 from 2017, which earned the infamous nickname Diva. Wolff said, "I thought that Silverstone, based on our historic performances, was the best shot, but it wasn't. So maybe there's another track where we have the best shot because the characteristics of the car have changed. I always believe that we can beat Max. We have a good group of people and best drivers. We just have to give them a car that is more predictable and not the Diva 2.0, plus much more complicated than the first one. If it were up to you, how would you fix the Diva 2.0? Tell us in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.